Hi everyone, I am Dalia, Head of International PR, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to localize your content for PR campaigns. So your first tip is obviously translating your language, but also making sure that you're not only simply translating it, but you're localizing it. What does that mean? So I'll give you a really good example. For Italy, for example, we use a ton of English words into Italian. So you wouldn't really need to translate everything in a sentence. You just have to know that some of those words don't need actual translation. And that is only really something that you would know either if you work with a translator or if you are from there. So I do always sort of advise people of not just chucking stuff into a translation software or just thinking that, they have to translate everything, because languages don't work like that. So just make sure that you know the language inside out before you just try and attempt that. So kind of like, don't try this at home. Second tip is don't only localize your language, but also your tone of voice. So for example, in the UK, I feel like PR can be kind of like quite friendly, the way you approach people, quite informal, whilst in a lot of European countries, you do have to be more formal. You have to address them in a certain way. For example, for Germany, you wouldn't really say hello and then someone's first name, like hello Sarah or whatever. You would say dear Mrs. and then use their surname. And that is something that I know it seems really small, but it can really make or break your pitch email, because if someone feels like you are kind of addressing them in a more informal way without really knowing them, they would probably get annoyed. In fact, I think years and years ago, I probably didn't really take this into consideration, and I did get a couple of journalists annoyed. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry. And then the third tip is not only localizing your language, your tone of voice, but also your topics. So make sure that, if something is working in a country, you don't just blindly assume that it's gonna work everywhere. For example, jumping back on Italy, which is where I'm from, stuff like, pets, celebrities, anything too fluffy, anything lifestyle, it just doesn't fly. Germany is the same. They want more stuff like data-led studies. Even if it's secondary research, it needs to be more on a serious note. So it's really important to know, basically, if you're flogging a dead horse. So if your campaign in the UK is something that is very like lifestyle-y and light, you probably don't really want to use that internationally. So it is always good to, if you have a really good campaign in a country and you want to see how it does in other countries, you can try and localize it, but also make sure you don't just push it for the sake of pushing it. Sometimes it's just good to think of something that is completely different and will work for that country. And I would say that probably most of the time that would be the case. You would have to have a separate PR campaign per country and per culture as well. And then I guess if, fourth little tip would be just don't try this at home. If you do want to go for international PR, make sure that you rely on an agency that kind of knows what they're doing. Make sure that you either hire or consult with native speakers, with people that are from that country, from that culture, and they can really tell you how to go for it and how to get results, because that is always the best way to do it. So yeah, if you ever want to chat international PR, just feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, drop us a line on LinkedIn, on social, or just go to our website and just get in touch. Ciao.